Lost connection for a moment.
We actually there was some call from someone. No? I lost the connection. That is. So we are providing our best that what we can provide to our students so that we can train them for the corporates. So we have a very well established training and placement cell, and the objective of the training and placement cell is to coordinate with the industries not only for the placement of the student but also for the training of the students. So we have started this new series that we will be having this webinar series on different kind of topic that can help, that can train our student. So in this is the first one for this particular sessions. We have so many sessions in the previous years, but for this particular semester that we are going to start from today only. So this is the first sessions that we have, and I hope all the students will definitely get the benefit from the experience of the corporate as well as the resource persons who have lot of experience. And this is the one step, first step, that a student must know that how to build your resume, because everywhere whenever you want to apply for the job, the only thing that is first that is checked, that is what the criteria that is used by the corporate or the company or the firms or the organization is whatsoever you have mentioned in the your resume. On the basis of a resume, they basically shortlist you for the next round of uh, selection. So I expect you all will learn what she is going to discuss with you, that how you can make your resume very effective. With these remarks, I again thanks the Miss Pooja Yadav as well as welcome her, and the Delton Technology, Miss Shivani, and most importantly Dr. Digvijay for organizing this particular sessions. And with these words, wish you all the best. Thank you very much. Digvijay.
Thank you, Professor Mohinder Singh Mahodaji. So we
Uh,
have received
am I
so
audible?
quickly. Yes. So we would now, before I hand over the session to
Yes,
the next
Shivangi ma'am,
mod.
you are audible.
Yes.
First of all, thank you so much, Mohinder Singh ji and Digvijay Pukhan ji, for greeting us so nicely. We are really fortunate to collaborate with the university and give the guidance to the students. So hoping you will really benefit from the session and looking for further opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shivangi ji, for your words. And I would also like to, before I have a brief introduction of our resource person, Professor Singh has already mentioned in detail. I'll just quick, before we move on to session, I would also mention that our co-director and Dr. Manish ji, who has also joined us here today from the Placement Training and Placement Cell, we have been actually making efforts to have more students, and we will continue this venture. So the resource person for today is Ms. Pooja Yadav ji. As stated, she is as after her completion of her Master's MBA, she has been working in the field of human resource development and management, and has now been leading several organizations, working with the Transvin Consulting Private Limited, and also been actually looking at HR in Geeks for Geeks. With her experience and more of that, she is really important that she's also sparing time from her busy schedule to actually work with the students and who are actually building a workforce and helping them to come out. So this is one of the very great initiatives that has been taken to just come out from the corporate world and also interact with the students so that they can be really beneficial. So Ms. Yadav has been working on various areas, including employee relationships, planning, performance management, talent acquisition. In fact, there's so much in that we can learn from the experience that she has gathered over the last almost 10 years of working in this sector. So today she'll be focusing exclusively on resume writing. And as stated by us, any student, if you have any query regarding this topic, you can just post it on your chat box, and the resource person, Ms. Yadav ji, will definitely will answer that. So with this, because we are already taken some time, so I would hand over the session to Ms. Pooja Yadav ji. Thank you so much for your time. Now it's all your own. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this detailed introduction and giving us the opportunity to connect with your students. So I'll just start the session. I'll just share the PPT with you all so that with the reference to the PPT, you will be able to understand the pointers I am trying to explain regarding the CV and the resume. Just give me a moment, please. I hope my screen is visible. Anyone can just text, or Shivangi, can you confirm?
Yes, it is visible.
All right. So I'll just try to explain the basic pointers regarding the CV and the resume. So we'll cover all these pointers, like we'll discuss what is CV and what resume is. Basically, these two documents are different from each other, and this is mistaken by many of the students and even professionals, that they don't understand the difference between these two documents. We'll also discuss where to use which document, like in which scenario or at what time you will use the CV or resume. Then we'll also discuss about the common pointers where generally the applicant makes mistakes in the CV or a resume. We'll then discuss about, I'll just try to explain a few tips about the effective resume writing, wherein you can utilize these pointers to um, increase the chances of getting the CV shortlisted, or even after experience, you can increase the chances of your resumes to get shortlisted in the companies. And then we'll discuss about the various formats and the CV styles. Like there can be multiple styles, and how we can utilize these styles or the formats for the job application in various companies. So CV is generally, the curriculum vitae is actually the document which explains about your educational background and your basic details about your life, like whatever you have achieved during the course of your say professional course or any degree course or PG, any diploma, anything. Whenever you apply for a job as a fresher, then this document is utilized, and this document is referring to the curriculum, wherein you give the details about your educational background and whatever you have achieved in the just a minute. So yeah. So we'll just try to understand how we can differentiate in these. So this is the CV, which is the basic document, and it is also very, very important that we keep it as much as short as possible. So generally, we keep CVs to one pager only. And about the resume, so it will give you the summary of your job applications as an job experience. So suppose if I am a fresher, I'll have to prepare a CV, but once I gain the experience, and then maybe an internship of 6 months or 1 year experience or 6 months of exposure, anything, any sort of experience, I'll have to prepare a resume. Then I cannot use the word CV, and I cannot write it in the. So generally, what students make as a mistake is they use this as a heading in the document. They write resume or they write CV or curriculum vitae. So they don't have to write it, because many times they wrongly interrupt the meaning when they are applying for any job. So as a fresher, it's your curriculum vitae, and as an experience, you are supposed to make a resume. So resume will give you the chance to explain your work experience. So everyone can have different experiences based on their educational background, where they start their career. Based on that, they'll have to jot down the points about their experience, like what they have done during that particular job. So basis that, the pointers should be made, and these pointers should be very, very crisp. So to understand more about the difference, so resume will give you the accurate details. Like in a resume, as an applicant, you will give the accurate details about your work experience, how much experience you have. Suppose as at my level of experience, I'll write like I have managed a team of like 15 people or 20 people. Then the team is working on what? So I have to give that kind of detail, but in a very shorter format. Like I cannot go beyond 1.5 pager, or I cannot go beyond one page even at my level of experience. I will also have to include the education and the achievement, because that is also going to add on to my profile and give the weightage to my profile. Like if I am applying to any company, they should know, okay, this person is working in HR, but what is the educational background? Have they understood the theory of the HR background before they started working in the HR? So there can be situations where somebody started working as a recruiter and get into HR but haven't done MBA. So the profiles will have different kind of weightage. So one, a graduate would work as an HR will have a different weightage, but the other person who has done masters in HR or any graduation in HR or related discipline will have a different weightage, because then the person will understand the basic of that particular role. So that's why even in resume you will have to include the educational background, and if you have any sort of achievements, you have to include that as well. So also in some companies, there would be the expectation from the resume that the resume should tell what is the goal for the future. But suppose if I started my career and I am a say 1 year or 2 years experienced person, then I'll have to in one or the other way will have to explain that this is the position I am aiming for. After 5 years of experience, I am just targeting this position or I'm targeting this kind of role. Suppose if I start as a recruiter and I want to get into a generalist role later and want to be a manager for different teams, maybe in HR, there can be different disciplines also. So in that case, I'll also have to explain that particular goal in my resume, because that gives the idea to the recruiter that okay, this candidate is interested in so and so role and the candidate is aiming for so and so role, then I should hire this person if this person is actually matching with the requirement. Because as a recruiter, I can just see resume first, and basis that I can connect with the candidate. Okay, this profile looks relevant, I can call this candidate and get into details like what goals they have in detail. But if I haven't mentioned about my aim, about the goals, then the recruiter is say looking for something where somebody has a team management experience, like I stated earlier, and I haven't mentioned it in my resume that I have managed a team. So the recruiter will think, okay, this profile is good, but the team management experience is missing, so I cannot connect with this candidate, so reject. So it's very, very important that you read the job descriptions the company is providing. Make the changes in your resume whenever you are applying for the particular job. And if we talk about the CV, as a fresher, candidate would apply through a CV, which is giving the details about the educational background, the life history, and the achievements. As in, okay, I have managed the college event, the annual function I have managed, or say I've been into sports, I was a team captain, I was a vice captain, like that. So these things, what sometimes these things will appear as an unimportant topics, but these things will actually give the insight to the recruiter that you are a team player and you have behavioral pointers to count on as a fresher. So for freshers, the company would look, okay, so how would I judge the attitude of the person? So if somebody is a team captain, knows how to work with the team, somebody who managed a college event knows, okay, this is the management skill and I need to achieve, and I can manage things like this. I have to do the budgeting, I have to do the planning, I have to do the forecasting about the events. So these things are also very, very crucial in your CV when you are applying as a fresher, because these things add on to your college education and higher makes the chances higher to get hired in the company. So these things will actually add on the very high level of weightage to your resumes. Somebody who is just writing, okay, I have done this graduation and I have done this particular post graduation, this is my family background, this is my career objective, these sort of details and nothing else, the CV will be rejected 90% of the cases. But if you are adding on to details like, okay, I have managed this event, I was involved in this, I scored so and so ranks. There can be various societies in your college wherein you are appearing for debates, or you are appearing for international projects, or maybe you are just working on one project which is getting live on some workshop, anything. So that means you have the zeal to initiate in anything, which means you are trainable because you have your own mindset. Okay, I want to get into this thing, I can start with this, I can start with that, I can do this, I can do that. So these things are very very important. And yes, your educational background will also be very important. You cannot skip that, and you cannot overwrite anything in your resume or in CV. You have to be very particular about what you are mentioning in it. So, like the first pointer says, the difference, the main difference is brevity, which means the resume will have more details about the experience you have gained. In CV, the document is not much detailed. It is point to point, like your education, your achievements in college, your certification, these sort of things. And the resume should give more details, as in the teaser, like so when you see a movie teaser, you can see, okay, this sort of scene is there in the movie, okay, this is the dialogue which is there in the movie. So a resume does the same thing for you. So if I have to write, again, I'll just take the same pointer wherein I have mentioned, okay, I have an experience of team management. I have managed 3 teams at one time, or I have reported to 6 bosses at a time. So these things will give a teaser about my personality and can help me get into the job more easily as compared to any other person who has not done anything of that sort. Then the resume gives the experience highlight, like I mentioned in the earlier slide. So whenever you have worked, you have to mention, okay, this is what I have done. But also very very particular about it, like you cannot give all the details in the resume or all the details in the CV. Why? Because if you write more in the CVs or resumes, the recruiter or the interviewer will ask more questions about it. So you have to keep it very very particular, containing the information which feels comfortable to you to answer, and you feel confident, okay, if they ask A to Z about this particular topic, I am prepared for it. If you are not prepared for it, and if you are just looking at someone else's CV and just copy that particular document, you will not be able to get the profile shortlisted. For suppose the somebody who is into technical background, right? Okay, I do C++ coding, or I do Python coding or Java coding. I am proficient in it, or I am a beginner in it. And somebody who is not focused on the coding, but is actually looking like, okay, if I get the coding job, good. If I don't get in sales job, good. If I don't get sales, I can get into HR, fine. So the resume gets chaotic if you consider everything in one particular document. So you have to be very very particular when you are applying for any job, and every time read the job description before applying and make the changes in your CVs and the resumes. So this is important point to consider. One thing which is seen in most of the applicants, I have also seen, and many other people have also experienced the same. Or maybe if you guys have started making your CVs, some of you might be doing the same mistake. Like mentioning your family details. Okay, this is my father's name, this is my mother's name, this is the family address, this is the particular thing. I am married or I am single. I'm just considering some of you must be doing the same mistake, which is totally a no, because the recruiter is really not interested in these details. The recruiter is interested only in the individual, like who are you. They'll discuss about the family backgrounds and other things later when you are almost shortlisted and you are at the verge of getting the offer. Then they might have a casual discussion. Okay, where you live, where your family stays, and these things, because they want to understand Like if this candidate joins, the family lives here in the same city, the candidate can stay for a longer time. So these things are not important for a resume or a document. These things can be explained only when the recruiter asks for it in the interview or on a call. Then the most important thing is objective. So most of the people write the career objective in the resume or the CV. The pointer earlier was considered as a good weightage, but then because it is a repetitive and a copied pasted sort of a document, the career objective or the CV objective doesn't play an important role. You can not print paragraphs about it. Okay, my objective is to do this, and then over the period of 2 years I'm aiming this, and over the period of 3 years I'm aiming this. You cannot do that. You can just write it in a short form. Okay, I'm aiming to get into this particular role and prove my potential in it, and then grow in the particular profile. That's it. You cannot give paragraphs to read to the recruiter to read about your objective, because when there are paragraphs, long paragraphs, the recruiter will not be interested to read about it. The recruiter will just go to the pointers. So this is very important part. Then so again, the next point is also explaining the same thing. Like if you are particular about the profile, you want to get into programming, you want to get into designing, you want to get into some other role, say content creation or a marketing or anything else, then you can write that particular objective aiming to particular role, and then support that particular career objective by say certifications or maybe your voluntary experience, or maybe anything which is supporting that. If not supporting that and you have experience of say organizing events and all, that is also fine. You can mention that, because for freshers these things are very, very important. So about the common mistakes one can do. So generally what people do is they just apply through the CV or the resume. But now with the growing trend, the cover letter plays an important role. What is cover letter? So cover letter is a short document which gives a brief about you. You can find n number of websites to give you an insight about the cover letter. You just try to explain about your personality, not about the career you want to get into. The cover letter gives, okay, I am so and so person, I am interested in this, I do this, and this is what I do in the free time, these sort of a thing. But again, it also depends on the kind of profile you are applying for. So you have to be very, very sure. You have to double check the cover letter when you are applying for it. And then same cover letter for every company might not work. So you have to change the cover letter similarly the way you have to change a CV or a resume when you are applying for different companies. So one company can be into IT services, the other can be into IT product, the other can be into EdTech. So all three companies will have three different sort of expectations in terms of cover letter or CV or resume. So you have to read about the company, you have to read about the job description, the role you are applying for, make the changes in your CVs or cover letter, and then share it. Before doing the formal communication with the hiring team or the recruiter, you have to be double sure that you have made the changes in the cover letter and the CVs. If you don't do that, there are chances your application is not matching the job description the company has explained over any portal where they are applying for, they are posting the job vacancy. And one major mistake people do is, okay, so somebody does graduation, then post graduation, then one certification, then three more certification, all sort of things. But to count on the terms of experience, they do say, like suppose somebody is writing I want to get into recruitment, just recruitment, and the HR is wide, very wide subject. So if somebody is getting into recruitment and writing, okay, I have done HR workshops, I have done post trainings, I have done discipline committee, falana, and a lot of things, and then applying only for the recruitment. So this shows that you are overqualified for the job. Then also there are chances that your resume will not get shortlisted or your CV will not get shortlisted. Once you started having experience, or you take gaps, suppose you joined one company in the month of January, you left the company in say October, and then you join another company in December, you have to explain this gap, why you have taken this gap. If you're not explaining this gap, or if you're not explaining any sabbatical you are taking throughout your career, and you are lying about it, the recruiter will know that you are lying about it, and the recruiter will not shortlist your CV without telling you the reason. They will not explain why they have rejected your CV in most of the cases, but they'll just reject your CV for this reason that you are lying, or maybe there are too many gaps which you are not able to justify. So that is very important. And if you're not getting your CV proofread, that is also a common mistake. So as a fresher, suppose if you don't have the idea if I'm doing it right or not, you can ask the seniors to review your CV. You can ask your TPOs to review your CV. And best of all, if you are not getting any help, or you are not able to get any help due to any reason, you can reach out to your LinkedIn connections. So LinkedIn is very important. You can ask any HR or any professional in your interested field that they can spare 5 minutes to proofread your CV, or 2 minutes to proofread your CV.
Hello, Pooja.
Yes, yes, Shivangi.
So there's a request from the students, like please use Hindi and English both. Like you have to be bilingual. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So about the common mistake, I'll just try to explain once again. So generally, जब आप अप्लाई करते हैं थ्रू CV और resume, the most common mistakes we were talking. So CVs और cover letter के साथ ही हमें हमेशा भेजना चाहिए. Cover letter gives the brief about you as a person, and CVs or resumes will depend on the experience. If you have an experience, then that will be a resume. So resume में आपको आपका work experience include करना है, और वो बहुत specifically include करना है as in pointers. और जो चीज आपको अवॉइड करनी है वो ये है कि आप बहुत लेंदी पैराग्राफ्स यूज नहीं कर सकते. Either it is a CV or it is a resume. You have to be very specific about certain points. So जो भी आपको, अगर आपको लगता है ओके मेरे को टीम मैनेजमेंट का एक्सपीरियंस है, या मुझे इवेंट मैनेजमेंट का एक्सपीरियंस है, या मुझे पता है बजटिंग कैसे करते हैं, और बजटिंग को सपोर्ट करने के लिए मेरे पास ये पर्टिकुलर एक्सपीरियंस है, तो वो पॉइंटर्स आपको हाईलाइट करने के लिए पॉइंटर्स रेज्यूमे में डालने हैं, पैराग्राफ्स आप नहीं डाल सकते. सो पैराग्राफ्स इफ यू पुट, द रिक्रूटर विल नॉट रीड द पैराग्राफ्स. Okay, so why this is said that use a cover letter as a gateway. So when you send the cover letter along with the CV or a resume, तो recruiter पहले आपका cover letter ही पढ़ता है, resume वो बाद में पढ़ता है, या आपका CV वो बाद में पढ़ता है. ये generally practice होती है MNCs की. जो startup companies होती हैं, they might not need your cover letter, but in other companies, in MNCs and all, they will need your cover letter. So जब आप cover letter लिखेंगे तो आप कोशिश ये करेंगे कि आपके प्रोफाइल का पूरा ब्रीफ आप दे दें. अगर आपने कोडिंग करनी है तो आप उसमें लिखेंगे कि ठीक है, मेरे को ये कोडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे इतना रैंकिंग है, मैंने इतने प्रॉब्लम्स ऑनलाइन सॉल्व करे हैं, इतने कोड्स मैंने कॉलेज में लिखे हैं. नंबर्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अगर आपने ऐसा कुछ करा है तो. अगर हम बात करते हैं कि कवर लेटर में कुछ है नहीं लिखने के लिए, लाइक कुछ एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है एज सच, सिर्फ इतना है कि ओके दिस इज द ग्रेजुएशन आई हैव डन, दिस इज द पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन आई हैव डन, एंड दैट्स इट, एंड यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर एनी company with say at the growing stage, then you can skip the cover letter, because for a growing company cover letter is not that important. Growing companies में hiring is always at peak, तो उनके पास ये चीज स्किप करने का ऑप्शन होता है कि कवर लेटर नहीं है तो इट्स ओके. बट even if the growing company is hiring and the recruiter has explicitly mentioned कि मुझे कवर लेटर के साथ आप रेज्यूमे दीजिए, या उन्होंने कहीं भी जॉब पोर्टल पे ऐसा लिखा है कि प्लीज अप्लाई विद द कवर लेटर, then you should apply always with the cover letter. You cannot skip it. So this is important point. And when we talk about the accuracy and the correctness in your CV, it means suppose somebody has some gap after graduation, say 6 months or a year or something like that. So generally not 6 months or a 1 year gap is there if you pursue the post graduation after graduation with a gap. So this gap should be explained why you have taken that gap. So generally what happens, somebody who wants to get into masters will go through a process जिसमें उसको written test में apply करना पड़ेगा, written test qualify करना पड़ेगा, फिर उसको वो course मिलेगा based on the scores, based on the process. तो you should explain that कि मैंने ये gap लिया था because I felt I wasn't prepared for that, and then I took this gap so that I can prepare, and then I applied and I scored it. So you have to explain every particular thing in a accurate way. You cannot lie for anything. And then most important thing is आपके CV में दो चीजें बहुत important हैं, आपका email ID और आपका phone number. Why? Because suppose मुझे किसी का resume अच्छा लगता है and now I want to talk to this person. If the fresher is applying through a college, I still have the option to connect with the TPO. But if the fresher is applying off campus, मेरे को नहीं है TPO के साथ कोई connection, तो मेरे लिए important ये है कि उस CV में contact number है या resume में आपका email ID है या नहीं. अगर मुझे phone number पे reply नहीं मिलेगा, I can drop an email, okay, I try to reach you, please connect me on this number. Like that. If that is not there, I will not be able to connect with the candidate. So this is also important कि आपका जो contact details हैं वो बहुत clearly mentioned होना चाहिए. अगर आपको लगता है कि आप ऐसे region में हैं जहाँ पे आपका network issue हो सकता है, तो always mention an alternative number. And जिसका भी आप family में number mention कर रहे हैं, तो आप उनको भी inform करके रखिए कि मेरे resume में या CV में आपका contact number है, तो कोई call आता है तो you should let me know. So this is important pointer for those who are in the regions where they face internet issues or say network issues. Then it is also important that whenever you prepare the CV or a resume, this should be in a easy to follow format. What does it mean? The format should be in a way जिसमें अगर recruiter पढ़ रहा है तो उसको एक sequence में चीजें समझ में आनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि ग्रेजुएशन लिखा है फिर पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करा है तो पहले एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड में ग्रेजुएशन तो लिखा, बट उसके बाद पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन किसी और सेक्शन में मेंशन कर दिया, से सर्टिफिकेशंस में मेंशन कर दिया या किसी और चीज में मेंशन कर दिया, तो वो चीज नहीं होनी चाहिए. एक पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मेट होना चाहिए. इफ यू आर यूजिंग अ फॉर्मेट जहां पे आप पूरा पेज यूज कर रहे हो, आफ्टर द हेडिंग्स पॉइंटर्स डाल रहे हो, देन यू शुड यूज इट इन द होल फॉर्मेट. There can be different formats on internet which says half page में आप resume या CV divide कर सकते हैं, half page में आप कुछ और लिख सकते हैं for suppose contact information और आपका career objective. Half page में आप लिख सकते हैं आपका educational background या आपका experience. So depends on the format. सेम फॉर्मेट हमको फॉलो करना इम्पोर्टेंट इसीलिए है कि वो थोड़ा ऑर्गेनाइज लगता है और रिक्रूटर को थोड़ा इंटरेस्ट आता है और रिक्रूटर का अटेंशन ग्रैब कर पाता है, स्टे कर पाता है. अगर हम सेम फॉर्मेट यूज नहीं करते हैं तो रिक्रूटर विल लूज द इंटरेस्ट एंड विल नॉट कॉल यू, विल जस्ट रिजेक्ट योर CV. Okay, so why this is important to write your hobbies and all. Again, this is in reference to the same point where I said, if you are into sports, if you are into events, you should mention that, because that is important to understand your personal interest, और आपकी एज अ पर्सनालिटी आपको कैसे जज करना चाहिए वो इनसाइट एक रिक्रूटर को मिलता है, तो दिस इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड देन क्वालिफिकेशंस की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो इट शुड बी प्रेजेंटेड क्लियरली विच एंड कंसाइजली मीन्स what education you have done. Suppose somebody writes, I have done BTech, and doesn't mention the college, doesn't mention the BTech stream, doesn't mention the year of passing. That means this is no go. So you will find some resume or CV format online also, or maybe you will go through some of your connections where you find किसी ने एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड में सिर्फ इतना लिखा 10th 12th and then BTech or 10th 12th BSc. So this will not help in the shortlisting. आपको लिखना पड़ेगा 10th और 12th किस बोर्ड से करा है, किस मीडियम में करा है, किस ईयर में करा है. ये पॉइंटर्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इससे समझ में आता है कि ठीक है, सपोज somebody is from, generally what happens as a recruiter, I'm just trying to explain. So suppose somebody is applying from a state board, say Odisha, or maybe somebody is applying from UP board, or somebody is applying from ICSE board. So I know what kind of difference these boards have in the educational background and how they get groomed in their schools. There can be different formats based on the college and the background. I know, okay, if I'm hiring somebody from a state board, I'll have to groom that person more compared to somebody who is coming from ICSE board. तो उससे होता ये है कि रिक्रूटर को आइडिया लगता है कि ठीक है, इस बंदे को मुझे इतना सिखाना है, इस बंदे पे मुझे इतना एफर्ट डालना है. देन रिक्रूटर कैन चूज, ठीक है, अभी मेरे को इसके साथ ऐसे प्रोसेस करना है. तो वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड दिस हेल्प्स यू इन गेटिंग शॉर्टलिस्टेड. देन उसमें एक चीज और होती है कि आपने डाला कि से 2010 में मैंने 10th करा, 2012 में इट शुड बी 12th, बट किसी ने 12th की जो करी है 2012 में होने की जगह 13 में है, तो रिक्रूटर को पता होना चाहिए कि ऐसा गैप है. देन रिक्रूटर कैन आस्क. ये यहाँ पे पता होना इसलिए जरूरी है कि अगर आप यहाँ नहीं करोगे तो जब आपके डॉक्यूमेंट्स वेरीफाई होंगे एट द टाइम ऑफ ज्वाइनिंग, they might withdraw the offer in these scenarios, considering you lied in the situation to get the job, or considering that the candidate is not trustworthy कि उसने मेरे को पूरा information proper नहीं दिया है. अगर आप proper देते हैं तो शुरू से ही जब रिक्रूटर को पता है तो you will just nullify the chances of getting rejection due to this gap. गैप है, चलता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है अगर आप उसे जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं. अगर आप उसे जस्टिफाई नहीं करते हैं और आप बताते नहीं हैं और बाद में रिक्रूटर को पता चलता है इन बैकग्राउंड वेरिफिकेशन और एनीथिंग, दैट गोज अगेंस्ट योर पर्सनालिटी एंड योर एप्लीकेशन ऑफ जॉब. सो दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट. So on an average, this is based on some research that on an average an employer can decide in 6 seconds if I should consider the CV or not. So I'll just give you a very classic example about it. So suppose I post a job for a fresher and I don't mention anything specific because this is a fresher job. So I write, okay, I'm hiring freshers from any educational background. So this means I'm getting thousands of application for that particular job, because every year there will be thousands of students who are getting passed out of the college, and there can be scenarios where all of them will not get placed, obviously. So for that sort of a job, I'll get thousands and thousands of application. And obviously, as a human being also, or as a recruiter, I won't get so much of time to invest in these applications, right? So I'll have to have some pointers to catch my attention to get this sorted. So if I see, okay, this CV looks interesting, this person has mentioned so and so, this person was in extracurricular activities, तो मेरे को लगेगा ठीक है ये बंदा कुछ तो कर सकता है, इसको शॉर्टलिस्ट कर दो. अगर मैंने 1000 सीवी में से 500 सीवी भी रिव्यू करा और उसमें से अगर मेरे को 450 सीवी में ऐसा लगता है कि इसने बस ऐसे ही लिख दिए 10, 12 बीटेक, सिर्फ एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड मेंशन करा है, देयर इज नथिंग एडिशनल, कोई करिकुलर एक्टिविटी नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, आई जस्ट रिजेक्ट दैट सीवी. और वो मेरे को देखते ही मेरे को रिजेक्ट करना है, तो इट्स लाइक सेकेंड्स ही लगते हैं उसमें. So as a fresher, this is important to know, not to take the pressure on anything. कि 6 seconds में मेरा CV reject हो जाएगा तो मैं क्या करूंगा या क्या करूंगी. Not to take any sort of pressure about it. Just so that you know कि क्यों important है CV में pointers explain करना, क्यों important है अपनी चीजें highlight करना, क्योंकि आपका recruiter कोई भी हो वो इतना time invest नहीं करेगा अगर आपने theory लिखी है in paragraphs या आपने 2 पेजर या 4 पेजर का रेज्यूमे बना दिया है, तो रिक्रूटर आपका उस पर टाइम इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगा. सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट यू हैव टू कीप इट शॉर्ट टू 1 पेज. ऑलवेज आस्क फॉर द फीडबैक व्हेन यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर एनी जॉब. कोई भी जो आपका सीनियर होगा कॉलेज में उससे पूछो आपने अप्लाई करा था, कैसा रेज्यूमे बनाना है. टीपीओ से पूछो कैसे रेज्यूमेज बनाना है. आपको ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप फीडबैक ले रहे हो. So again, this slide also explains the same thing कि आपको जो resume बनाना है या जो CV बनाना है that can be of 1 page. अगर आपका वो experience level आ जाता है, say 1 year 2 year का experience level आ जाता है, then you can go to not 1 year or 2 year, maybe for 10-15 years of experience you can get into second page of the resume. Otherwise, like for me at this level also I am just using page of resume, so this is also very very important. The contact information should be visible very clearly, and you need to show what you have accomplished, like in terms of certifications, in terms of awards, in terms of prize, or anything you have achieved in the college, you have to mention that. Your CV should have a professional photo. So it cannot be a selfie, it cannot be a travel photo, it cannot be anything, say somebody is going to a religious place and clicks the photo, or if somebody is sitting at the seaside or somebody is doing skiing, तो वो photos travel वाली या party वाली या शादी वाली photos नहीं हो सकती हैं. It should be a professional photo and your face should be clearly visible in it. So this is also important. But if somebody, some recruiter mentions clearly that they don't need a photo resume, then you can skip it. Otherwise, you should always include the photo in it. So generally, a passport size photo into a soft copy can be added to your resume. पासपोर्ट साइज फोटो आपकी प्रोफेशनल फोटो ही होती है क्योंकि आपको सामने से क्लिक होती है और आपका फेस क्लियरली विजिबल होता है. So that sort of photo is good to go. Otherwise, कोई भी normal photo जिसमें आपका clear face visible है, वो photo आप लगा सकते हैं. Goggles में photo नहीं लगानी चाहिए because that shows you are not professional. So very like simple photo and जिसमें आपका face visible होता है, वो photo आपको लगानी है. जो इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट एक ये है कि अगर आप कवर लेटर लिखते हैं तो वो आपको किसी को एड्रेस करना है. आप ऐसे नहीं लिख सकते. फॉर सपोज जब हम सीखते हैं एप्लीकेशंस लिखना, लीव एप्लीकेशंस लिखना या लेटर्स लिखना, तो उसमें हम लिखते हैं डियर XYZ और डियर ABC. तो वैसा कवर लेटर नहीं लिखना है. जब आपको रिक्रूटर का नाम पता है तो आपको उसका नाम ही लिखना है, उसी को एड्रेस करना है. तो दैट इज ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट क्योंकि अगेन अगर thousands ऑफ एप्लीकेशंस हैं तो हो सकता है कि अगर मेरे पास 10 पोजीशन के लिए हायरिंग करनी है तो आई हैव 2 रिक्रूटर्स. आपको जिस रिक्रूटर का नाम पता है आपने उसका नाम मेंशन करा तो आई कैन क्वेश्चन दैट रिक्रूटर कि ये कवर लेटर आपके लिए आया था, आपने रीड करा नहीं करा, रिव्यू करा नहीं करा. तो वो चीज इम्पॉर्टेंट है. एंड ऑल्सो दिस गिव्स अ सेंस ऑफ पर्सनलाइजेशन. जब आप किसी को पर्टिकुलर पर्सनलाइजेशन से कोई लेटर लिखते हैं तो फीलिंग थोड़ी डिफरेंट होती है, उसमें बंदे का इंटरेस्ट आता है। अगर आपने सिर्फ ऐसे लिखा जैसे डियर सर और मैम आई एम इन्फॉर्मिंग दिस, और डियर सर और मैम आई एम विलिंग टू अप्लाई फॉर दिस, तो वो पर्सनलाइजेशन फीलिंग नहीं देता है। इट्स लाइक ऑल अदर एप्लीकेशंस, तो वो इम्पोर्टेंट है आपके लिए। References are available on request, should be mentioned. Why? Because as a fresher, you must be working on some projects for the final year or something. So maybe your recruiter calls you and asks for the references. You can just give your guide's name कि ये मेरे professor हैं in my project or whatever. The person can ask for the contact details. The person can call your professor, your project guide, to get the feedback about you कि इस बंदे की पर्सनालिटी कैसी है, एज अ फ्रेशर ये काम कर लेगा या नहीं कर लेगा, प्रेशर हैंडल कर पाएगा नहीं कर पाएगा, पॉजिटिव एटीट्यूड है या नहीं है। तो ये सब चीजें रेफरेंस चेक में पूछी जाती हैं। आपका गाइड भी हो सकता है, आपका एक्सपीरियंस हो जाएगा तो आपका मैनेजर या आपका एचआर हो सकता है प्रीवियस कंपनी का। So some places use cover letter as a handwritten document. You don't need to write it in that format. आप टाइप कर सकते हैं, बट कुछ लोग यूज करते हैं हैंड रिटन भी। तो जब तक वो स्पेसिफिकली मेंशन नहीं है, आपको हैंड रिटन बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है। आप सिर्फ उसे टाइप कर सकते हैं जैसे आपको रेज्यूमे या सीवी बनाना है। Again, like I mentioned, maximum length of a resume should be 2 pages. Which means when you have experience, a lot of experience, then maximum length hoti hai 2 pages. In some cases we have seen even freshers can make a CV of 4 pages. वो करते क्या हैं, content को बहुत बड़ा text size रख देते हैं, like कोई 25 और 40 का size रख के content करता है just to cover that number of pages. वो required नहीं है। Generally official documents आपके एरियल और टाइम्स न्यू रोमन में 9 और 10 और मैक्सिमम 12 के साइज तक जाते हैं, वेरन 11 और 12 का साइज जो होता है वो आपकी हेडिंग्स के लिए यूज होगा, और 9 और 10 जो होता है वो आपकी मेन बॉडी के टेक्स्ट के लिए यूज होगा। सो दिस इज अ पॉइंट टू नोट कि आपको एरियल या टाइम्स न्यू रोमन या फिर कैलिब्री वाले ही फॉन्ट्स यूज करने चाहिए आपके रेज्यूमेज या सीवी में। आप कुछ ऐसा इटैलिक और कर्सिव वाले फॉन्ट्स आप यूज नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज दैट इज समथिंग व्हिच रिक्वायर्स अ लॉट ऑफ अटेंशन टू रीड द कंटेंट। कंटेंट बहुत क्लियरली विजिबल होना चाहिए, बहुत क्लियरली रीडेबल होना चाहिए। पर्सनल इंफॉर्मेशन इज ऑप्शनल, so like I said, marital status and all is optional. Birth date in some cases company would ask, in some cases they won't. Just to judge, there can be companies where they have sort of a rule or a policy that they don't want to hire somebody beyond a certain age. So that comes at the later stage of the career. So अभी आप फ्रेशर है तो आपके लिए that is not important. आप बर्थ डेट डालना चाहते हैं डालिए, नहीं डालना चाहते हैं मत डालिए। रिक्रूटर आपसे पूछ सकता है ऑन कॉल कि आपने डाली नहीं है तो क्या है, अगर उसको जरूरत है तो। अदरवाइज in some companies it is important at the later stage. Why? Because उन कुछ companies का ऐसा होता है कि they maintain average age in the overall company कि ठीक है मेरी कंपनी का average age is 35, तो मेरे को 40-45 के बियॉन्ड कोई हायर नहीं करना, क्योंकि जो मेरी मैक्सिमम एज लिमिट है वो बहुत यंग है। फ्रेशर्स बच्चे ही हायर होते हैं, कॉलेज से ही हायर होते हैं, तो यंग एज वाले पेस पे चलने के लिए मुझे उसी एज ग्रुप का बंदा चाहिए। तो वो कुछ कंपनीज करती हैं, बट दैट इज वेरी फ्यू, नॉट मच. So, and that comes at the later stage, like when you have 25 or 30 years of experience in the industry, वो तब आता है। अभी उसका ऐसा कुछ सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है फॉर यू गाइज। अगर आपको कोई भी लैंग्वेज इन अपार्ट फ्रॉम हिंदी और इंग्लिश एक्स्ट्रा आती है तो आपको वो मेंशन करना इज ऑल्सो अ काइंड ऑफ वेटेज फॉर यू, तो वो आपको मेंशन करना चाहिए। अगर आपको कुछ भी लैंग्वेज अलग से आती है और उसमें आपको प्रोफिशिएंसी लेवल भी एक्सप्लेन करना चाहिए, So this gives sort of insight, okay, इस बंदे को बेसिक लैंग्वेज के अलावा भी दूसरी लैंग्वेज आती है, तो दो तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है उससे. लाइक फॉर यू गाइज, आप लोगों की जो भी लैंग्वेज आप लोग यूज करते होगे, तो दो तरह की इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है. एक ये कि आप किस रीजन को बिलोंग करते हैं, और दूसरा ये कि अगर आपने कोई जर्मन या फ्रेंच या कुछ वैसी लैंग्वेज सीखी है, तो वो ये जज करने को हेल्प करती है कि ये बंदे का लर्निंग कैपेबिलिटी अच्छा है, क्योंकि इसने एक्स्ट्रा लैंग्वेज लर्न करी है. समटाइम्स लोकल लैंग्वेज इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट. कुछ कंपनीज हो सकती हैं जिनकी ब्रांच आपके एरिया में हो और आपकी लैंग्वेज उनके लिए हेल्पफुल है, तो वो इम्पोर्टेंट है मेंशन करना. CV styles can be of different types. एक आपका टारगेटेड CV हो सकता है, एक आपका इन्वेंटरी CV हो सकता है, देन आपका क्रोनोलॉजिकल और फंक्शनल और कॉम्बिनेशन CV हो सकता है. तो जो लीस्ट यूज्ड फॉर्मेट है वो है आपका कॉम्बिनेशन CV. कॉम्बिनेशन CV आप लोग कोशिश करिए कि अवॉइड करिए. क्रोनोलॉजिकल CV is the best CV to use, and what means is क्रोनोलॉजिकल में आपको एक ईयर वाइज सीक्वेंस में आपका एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड या आपका कोई भी अचीवमेंट डालना है, विच मीन्स अगर आप लेते हैं 2010, 11, 12 ऐसे सीक्वेंस में तो चलेगा, या फिर आप उल्टा सीक्वेंस ले सकते हैं 12, 11, 10 और 9, दैट इज ऑल्सो वर्केबल. बट अगर आप ऐसा कुछ लिखते हैं कि आई हैव अचीव्ड सो एंड सो इन 2009, and then you write 2012 and then you write 2011, तो वो बहुत मिसमैच है, कोई क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर नहीं है. तो दिस ऑल्सो अपसेट्स द रिक्रूटर अगर आपका एक प्रॉपर फॉर्मेट नहीं है तो. So this format is the most used and most useful format for any fresher. Combination CV थोड़ा सा आपका mix and match हो जाता है, तो in some cases recruiter will like it, in some cases they won't. It's like that. And in functional CVs, आपके mainly you focus on the skill set, and you focus on some sort of internships, on experiences you have gained throughout your curriculum. That sort of a CV requires the functional CV style. I'm sorry, I skipped this particular thing. So in these formats are not widely used and not much appreciated by the recruiters. So this is something wherein you specify as per the industry, or you specify as per the company. Like inventory CV is not, targeted CV is used. Like I said, as per the company, you should change the CV format, you should change the content of the CV. So that is most important part, like you change it. So targeted CV can be combined well with the chronological CV. So this pointer is useful for you, most useful for you. And then this particular CV where you talk about the inventory CV, it's sort of very, very general CV where you say, okay, I have done this and this and this, like in a very casual format, and you are not specific about the things you have done. So that is sort of a CV is called an inventory CV. So you can, for the best selection chances, you can use a targeted CV. Like as per the company, you can make the changes in the CV, and in the chronological order, you should mention the basic details or your educational details or your say certifications, trainings, or your achievements, like you have participated in any sort of competition and you won some kind of prizes. So these all sort of things should be arranged in a chronological order. So आपका एक या तो ऊपर की साइड ईयर वाइज जाएगा या फिर नीचे की साइड आप ईयर को यूज कर सकते हैं. देन ये एक बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पार्ट है. कुछ केसेस ऐसे हो सकते हैं जहाँ पे यू आर जस्ट यूजिंग sort of like, okay, so I'll just give you one example. Suppose there are 1,000 or say 700 students in one course in one university. ठीक है, अभी 700 स्टूडेंट्स सारे प्लेस हो जाएंगे ऐसे चांसेस बहुत कम होते हैं, इवन इफ आपके टीपीओस बहुत ट्राई करें तो भी। तो 700 बहुत बड़ा नंबर है। 700 उस ईयर में आपके अपॉर्चुनिटीज भी ओपन है या नहीं है, वी डोंट नो इन विच ईयर यू आर पासिंग। तो वो चांसेस ऐसे होते हैं कि कई बार आपको ऑफ कैंपस भी अप्लाई करना पड़ता है, विच इज नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, ऑफ कैंपस भी कंपनीज लेती हैं। तो उस केस में क्या होता है, कई बार ऐसा भी हो सकता है फॉर एनी XYZ रीजन, फैमिली रीजन हो या कोई भी रीजन हो सकता है कि आपने एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करी, उसके बाद आपका गैप हो गया, लेकिन उस गैप में आपने कोई छोटा मोटा कोर्स कर लिया, आपने जॉब नहीं करी। तो आपको सडनली किसी फ्रेंड ने कॉल करा, यार मेरे कंपनी में हायरिंग चल रही है तो अपना CV भेज दे। नाउ ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है कि जब आपके फ्रेंड ने आपको कॉल किया, आपने CV अपडेट किया है या नहीं किया है, वो आप देखे बिना अगर भेज दोगे तो आपके चांसेस बहुत कम हो जाएंगे। तो आपको ये चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हर 6 महीने में आप अपडेट करो। अगर आप वर्किंग भी हो, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट रेज्यूमेज, कोई बंदा एक कंपनी में 5 साल तक काम करता है, गुड, वेरी गुड, द स्टेबिलिटी इज हाई, बहुत अच्छी बात है। बट 5 साल में जो उसने काम करा है वो हर 5 साल में, हर साल में सेम नहीं होगा। तो उसको भी हर 6 महीने में, 7 महीने में अपना रेज्यूमे अपडेट करते रहना चाहिए, सो दैट वो पॉइंटर्स सडनली जब वो रेज्यूमे बनाने जाए या अपडेट करने जाए फॉर अप्लाइंग फॉर एनी अदर जॉब आफ्टर 5 years, तो वो कुछ ना कुछ मिस हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ऑल ऑफ सडन कुछ मिस हो ही सकता है। तो हर 6 महीने में आपको रेज्यूमेज अपडेट करने चाहिए इफ यू आर वर्किंग। अगर आपने सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग्स करनी है पहले कुछ टाइम, 1 साल 2 साल, उसके बाद आपने जॉब करनी है, तो भी आपको अपडेट करना चाहिए। अगर आपका कोई भी रीजन है XYZ जिसकी वजह से, फैमिली रीजन, मेडिकल रीजन, जिसकी वजह से आप राइट आफ्टर कॉलेज जॉब नहीं ज्वाइन कर पा रहे हैं, तो भी आपको CVs अपडेट करते रहने चाहिए बेस्ड ऑन दी कंपनीज यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन, या किस कंपनी में जॉब निकली है, या किस कंपनी में आपका फ्रेंड आपका रेफरेंस लगा रहा है, कुछ भी, तो उसके बेसिस पे आपको चेंज करना चाहिए हमेशा। सेम फॉर्मेट हमेशा नहीं चलता, ऑनलाइन भी बहुत सारे फॉर्मेट्स आते रहते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग नए नए फॉर्मेट्स बनाते हैं। इवन ग्राफिक डिजाइनर्स दीज डेज आर सो क्रिएटिव कि वो लोग अपने आप ही अपना कुछ फॉर्मेट बना देते हैं और वो ऑनलाइन डाल देते हैं कि ठीक है, ये फॉर्मेट मैंने बनाया है, आप लोग इसमें अपना कंटेंट डाल के अपना रेज्यूमे भी बना लो। तो फॉर्मेट्स तो चेंज होते रहते हैं और ट्रेंडिंग फॉर्मेट्स कैन बी डिफरेंट एवरी ईयर, तो वो भी आपको चेक करते रहना पड़ेगा जब भी आप कभी नई जॉब के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो। तो अगर ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, लास्ट पॉइंट, लुक एट इट फ्रॉम योर एम्प्लॉयर्स पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। जो पूरी कॉन्वर्सेशंस में मैंने बार बार एक पॉइंट रिपीट करा है कि आपको सारे चेंजेस जिस जॉब के लिए, जिस कंपनी के लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो, उसके अकॉर्डिंग करने चाहिए। तो एज एन एम्प्लॉयर अगर मैं देख रही हूँ कोई बंदा लाइक वेरी, इट्स अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट फॉर यू ऑल, जैसे अगर मेरी कंपनी में हायरिंग होती है तो मेरे लिए ये है कि अगर हिमाचल का बंदा आ रहा है तो बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग होगा। मेरा ये परसेप्शन बन गया है क्योंकि मेरी कंपनी में बहुत लोग हैं, तो मेरा ये परसेप्शन है कि यार हिमाचल का बंदा आ रहा है, उत्तराखंड का बंदा आ रहा है तो बहुत हार्ड वर्किंग होगा, बहुत काम करेगा, अच्छे से काम करेगा। तो अगर मेरा ये परसेप्शन है और रेज्यूमे बहुत नॉर्मल फॉर्मेट में बना हुआ है तो मेरे लिए वो डिसअपॉइंटमेंट है। वो रेज्यूमे या CV में अगर ऐसा लिखा हुआ है कि मैंने ये किया या वो किया और ये मेरा गोल है, और वो शॉर्ट फॉर्मेट में लिखा हुआ है, तो मेरे लिए अच्छा है। हाँ यार, रेज्यूमे अच्छा है और हिमाचल के बंदे तो होते ही अच्छे हैं, काम बहुत अच्छा करते हैं, तो मेरे लिए वो शॉर्ट लिस्ट है। तो आपको ये सोचना पड़ेगा कि आप जिस कंपनी में अप्लाई कर रहे हो, वो एम्प्लॉयर जो JD डाल रहा है, उसकी JD के हिसाब से एक्सपेक्टेशंस क्या हैं, वो क्या चाह रहे हैं कि मुझे ऐसा बंदा चाहिए। 2 फॉर्मेट्स, 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड होता है JD आपका। तो एक सेक्शन, जो फर्स्ट सेक्शन होता है, वो ये एक्सप्लेन करता है कि आपका काम क्या रहेगा आफ्टर ज्वाइनिंग दैट जॉब। सेकेंड सेक्शन जो नीचे लिखा होता है, 2 सेक्शंस में होता है, हेडिंग्स कुछ भी हो सकती हैं सबके JDs में, बट जो सेकेंड सेक्शन होता है वो ये बताता है कि उनकी एक्सपेक्टेशंस आपसे क्या है। उसमें वो ये भी लिखते हैं कि वी आर लुकिंग फॉर समबडी from this particular educational background, or वी आर लुकिंग फॉर समबडी जिसका माइंडसेट हो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग का, या वी आर लुकिंग फॉर समबडी हु इज गुड टीम प्लेयर। ये एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती हैं जो हर जेडी में आपको मिलेंगी। तो इन एक्सपेक्टेशंस का मतलब क्या हुआ कि इफ आई एम लुकिंग फॉर समबडी हु इज अ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर, तो अगर मैंने ये जेडी पढ़ा एज अ फ्रेशर, मुझे कोई ऐसा इंसिडेंट या ऐसा अचीवमेंट मेंशन करना चाहिए अपने सीवी में जो ये चीज सपोर्ट कर पाए कि हाँ मैं प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ या कर सकती हूँ, हाँ मेरे को ये चीज आती है, तो वो जेडी में मैच हो जाता है, तो आपका प्रोफाइल शॉर्टलिस्ट होने के चांसेस ज्यादा हो जाते हैं। सो आई जस्ट stop sharing with this pointer and I'll welcome all the questions if you guys have.
Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Pooja ji, for this insightful and detailed presentation on this very important topic. आपने जो है, क्योंकि अक्सर अधिकांश हमने देखा है जब हम लोग भी कॉर्पोरेट में रहते थे तो ये रेज्यूमे, सीवी, बायोडेटा, इन सारे शब्दों को लेके भ्रम रहता है, और आपने इन विषयों को पे बच्चों का आज ज्ञानवर्धन किया। और मुझे लगता है कि ये जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चीज़ें आपने बताई, हाउ टू पुट द एड्रेस, how to put their references from point one till everything. I think this was a very beneficial session for all the students. And now, as you have rightly pointed out, before we move towards the closure of the session, we have this important question answer and the interaction session. So I would now request the students, if you have any query, you may type, or you can let us see if there's any conversation on the chat box. There is not anyone.
Yeah, so there is one question from Siddhant Kumar. Do we have to mention gap description separately on the CV? So no, you don't have to. आप जब उसमें years लिखोगे कि this year मैंने ये काम किया है, यहाँ से इस month में मैंने ये कंपनी छोड़ी है या whatever, तो वो chronological order की जब हम बात कर रहे थे, या जब हम बात कर रहे थे कि educational background में हमको लिखना चाहिए कि ये कोर्स मैंने इस साल में कंप्लीट करा, आप जब वहां लिखते हैं तो रिक्रूटर को पता होता है कि ये गैप हो रहा है, तो वो रिक्रूटर आपसे कॉल पे पूछेगा, आपको रिज्यूमे में या सीवी में वो मेंशन नहीं करना है। अगर रिक्रूटर के लिए उस बात से कोई फर्क पड़ता है कि गैप नहीं कंसिडर कर सकते हैं कुछ भी, तो रिक्रूटर आपको कॉल करके खुद पूछेगा कि आपका ये गैप है तो क्यों है। आप उस चीज को कॉल पे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं, या फिर फिजिकल इंटरव्यूज में भी आपका रिक्रूटर आपसे पूछेगा कि यार आपका ये गैप है तो क्यों है, आप बता सकते हो। तो आपको वहां एक्सप्लेन करना है, गिव अ गुड जस्टिफाइबल रीजन। ऐसा कुछ रीजन नहीं होना चाहिए नहीं बस ऐसे ही हो गया बस, तो ऐसा रीजन विल गिव यू अ डायरेक्शन फॉर अ रिजेक्शन। बट अगर आप एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं कि मैंने इसलिए लिया या उसलिए लिया, जो भी आपका स्पेसिफिक रीजन है, तो वो आपके लिए पॉजिटिव ही रहेगा, इवन इफ आपका गैप है तो भी। आइडियम्स आप तब यूज कर सकते हैं, लाइक 1 वर्ड और 2 वर्ड में भी वो बहुत ज्यादा शॉर्ट हो जाएगा, तो उतना शॉर्ट भी नहीं करना है हमको। इतना रखना है फॉर सपोज 4-5 वर्ड्स का 1 लाइनर हो गया, या शॉर्ट लाइंस हो गई, आपको वो यूज करना है। और आपको कोशिश करनी है कि आप बुलेट पॉइंट्स में यूज करेंगे। लाइक आपको ऐसा नहीं लिखना है कि आप स्टोरी टेलिंग कर रहे हैं, आपको ऐसा लिखना है कि आप स्टेप्स एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं, मतलब आपको पॉइंटर्स लिखने हैं। जैसे शायद आपके कुछ प्रोफेसर्स भी बोलते हुए कि एग्जाम में टू द पॉइंट लिखो, पैराग्राफ्स मत लिखो, स्टोरीज मत लिखो, तो ये वैसा है, आपको वैसे एक्सप्लेन करना है। आई होप आई आंसर्ड योर क्वेश्चन दीपक। Yeah, okay. Any other questions? If we know any computer-based language like C++, C, where can we mention that in the resume? So, आप वहाँ पे एक सेक्शन लिख सकते हैं जब आप एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड लिखते हैं या अचीवमेंट्स लिखते हैं, फिर आप लास्ट में एक सेक्शन लिख सकते हैं स्किल्स। आप स्किल्स में लिख सकते हैं उसको भी आप टेबल फॉर्मेट में बनाएंगे तो ज्यादा प्रेजेंटेबल लगता है, तो आप वहां लिख सकते हैं लैंग्वेजेस या कंप्यूटर लैंग्वेजेस या कोडिंग लैंग्वेजेस C++ और C, एंड देन प्रोफिशिएंसी लेवल, कि आप बिगिनर हैं, इंटरमीडिएट लेवल पे हैं या प्रोफिशिएंट हैं, लाइक यू आर वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट अबाउट इट। तो ऐसा स्किल्स का एक सेक्शन मेंशन करना होता है CV में, आप वहां लिख सकते हैं। Somprita Datta, how can we address employment gaps or transitions in a resume? So आपको resume में address करना नहीं है, वो आपको address करना है when you are having a interview or a call with the recruiter. आपको resume में वो चीज आप address नहीं कर पाओगे, क्योंकि आप कितना explain करोगे resume में, और जितना आप explain करने की कोशिश करोगे वो आपका resume का length बढ़ाता चला जाएगा, तो आपको वो नहीं करना है। आपको सिर्फ आपका टेन्योर लिखना है, एंड आपका रिक्रूटर आपसे खुद पूछेगा कि ये चीज क्यों हुई है, और आपके पास जस्टिफाइबल रीजन है, तो रिक्रूटर्स विल कंसिडर दैट। एंड जस्टिफाइबल रीजंस मींस यूजुअली रिक्रूटर विल कंसिडर मेडिकल रीजंस and your family reasons, but if there is only interest basis gaps, the recruiter might not feel interested about it unless आपका प्रोफाइल बहुत स्ट्रांग है। गैप का सेक्शन आपने ऐड नहीं करना है श्वेता। गैप का आपके रिक्रूटर को ऐसे पता चलता है कि आपने किस ईयर में क्या किया, आपको सिर्फ ईयर मेंशन करना है। आपने ABC कंपनी में 2020 तक काम किया, फिर 21 में नहीं किया, फिर 22 में किसी XYZ कंपनी में काम किया, तो रिक्रूटर को पता है कि आपका लास्ट वर्किंग ईयर ये था, फिर आपने ये सेकंड कंपनी ज्वाइन कर ली, तो ये गैप है। आपको अलग से गैप का कोई सेक्शन मेंशन नहीं करना है। द रिक्रूटर विल अंडरस्टैंड बेस्ड ऑन द ईयर्स यू आर मेंशनिंग। Abhishek, can we make CV for one specific job or multiple? So like I've been reiterating again and again कि आपको एक जो CV है वो शायद एक कंपनी 1 के लिए आपका एप्लीकेबल हो, कंपनी B के लिए आपका एप्लीकेबल नहीं है, क्योंकि हर कंपनी का JD अलग होता है, तो आपको JD के हिसाब से आपका CV चेंज करते रहना पड़ेगा जब भी आप अप्लाई कर रहे हैं। हर कंपनी की इंडस्ट्री भी अलग हो सकती है, कोई सिविल में हो सकता है, कोई IT प्रोडक्ट हो सकता है, कोई एजुकेशनल हो सकता है, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपको JD के हिसाब से आपका CV में चेंजेस करने रहेंगे। Arpit, if a candidate has many organizations listed on their resume, it could create the impression that they are not a dedicated employee who switches jobs frequently. Yes, it does. Because see what happens as an HR, हमारा बहुत इन्वेस्टमेंट जाता है एक बंदे को हायर करने के लिए, और अगर हम 100 लोगों का इंटरव्यू कर रहे हैं तो शायद हम 2 या 4 बंदे ही हायर कर रहे हैं। तो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम जो बंदा हायर कर रहे हैं वो एक सब्सटैंशियल टाइम के लिए हमारे साथ रुके कंपनी में, क्योंकि हायरिंग का भी एक कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व होता है, और अगर हम हर बार ऐसा फ्रिक्वेंटली हायर करेंगे तो कंपनी का कॉस्ट बहुत जाता है उसमें, फॉर द रिसोर्सेज एंड फॉर मेनी थिंग्स, इंफ्रा कॉस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग। तो इसलिए वो इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि स्टेबल कैंडिडेट हम हायर करें। Shalav Sharma, yes, you can add anything which you think you are confident enough and you can implement in the job. आपने जो भी कुछ सीखा है आप ऐड कर सकते हैं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। जब आपका रिक्रूटर पूछता है कि इसका कोई सर्टिफिकेट है या नहीं है, तो आप उसमें भी बता सकते हैं कि नहीं सर्टिफिकेट नहीं, मैंने इस पार्ट से, इस पर्टिकुलर थिंग से मैंने कुछ ऐसा प्रैक्टिस करा है। दे माइट टेक योर टेक्निकल टेस्ट फॉर दैट, जो भी आप मेंशन कर रहे हैं, बट अगर सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है तो भी आप मेंशन कर सकते हैं। कुछ कंपनीज को सर्टिफिकेशंस की इंपॉर्टेंस ज्यादा होती है, दे विल टेल यू कि हमें सर्टिफिकेशंस चाहिए, अगर नहीं है तो भी दे कैन कंसिडर। Dipanshu, do we include all our experiences? Yes, we should, unless until there is any overlapping. So or maybe if there are too many switches. So जब तक आप एक्सपीरियंस सारे इंक्लूड नहीं करोगे तो रिक्रूटर को ये नहीं समझ आएगा कि आपको किस लेवल का एक्सपीरियंस है, कितना अच्छा और कितना स्ट्रॉन्ग स्किल सेट है आपका। तो एक्सपीरियंसेस मेंशन करना इज इम्पोर्टेंट। Any other questions?
I think there was in fact quite an interactive session with so many questions, and I'm sure if we have, there's one more question, I guess.
Sorry. A lot of companies these days employ artificial intelligence system to evaluate resumes. No, that's not true. It is just for the sake of saying, as of now, we are not at the level जहाँ पे artificial intelligence से ही resume reject हो रहा हो। ऐसा 90% companies में नहीं है, और मे बी 95% कंपनीज में ऐसा नहीं है। मैनुअली रेज्यूमेस चेक होते हैं। बहुत कम कंपनीज हैं जो एआई के बेसिस पे आपके रेज्यूमेस रिजेक्ट करें। देयर आर सम प्रोजेक्ट्स कमिंग इन। इफ यू आर रेफरिंग टू शार्क टैंक्स रीसेंट episode where somebody was using artificial intelligence for the recruitment. So that's a good idea actually, but अभी बहुत सारी companies use नहीं कर रही हैं, बहुत कम companies use कर रही हैं, because I think most of the companies and the recruiters and the hiring managers understand this point कि शायद AI पे ऐसे resumes भी reject हो सकते हैं जो हमारे लिए relevant हो, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि applicant ने कोई particular keyword miss कर दिया हो mention करना, but उसे आता हो वो काम। So ATS, Sanjay Singh, are you trying to ask how to prepare a ATS relevant resumes or ATS friendly resume? Okay, so what ATS is, there is this misconception कि ATS में resume pass होता है तो उसके basis पे rejection हो जाता है। ऐसा नहीं होता है। There are always manual interventions in that. अगर ATS भी कोई कंपनी यूज करती है, JD के बेसिस पे आप अगर अप्लाई करते हैं, जनरली जब आप किसी नौकरी पोर्टल पे या लिंक्डइन पे अप्लाई कर रहे हैं और आपकी एप्लीकेशन रीडायरेक्ट हो रही है किसी और वेब पेज पे और जा रही है कंपनी के वेबसाइट पे, which means the company is using ATS. अब ATS का मेन यूज एज अ रिक्रूटर मेरे लिए क्या है, वो ये है कि मेरे पास सारे रेज्यूमेज एक प्लेटफॉर्म पे रहते हैं। मुझे ये इंफॉर्मेशन, ये डेटाबेस मैनुअली नहीं बनाना पड़ता। मेन उसका यूज ये है। बट अगर मुझे वो एप्लीकेशन वहां से सपोज रेलेवेंट लग रही है, नहीं लग रही है, तो मैं वहीं पे एक क्लिक पे उसको रिजेक्शन में या होल्ड पे या सिलेक्शन में डाल सकती हूँ। बट ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि आपका ATS के पार्सिंग से रेज्यूमे रिजेक्ट हो रहा हो। तो ATS सिर्फ मेजर जो रोल है ATS का वो ये है कि आपका रेज्यूमे वहां पे एप्लीकेशन में एक जगह रहता है। दूसरा जो हम बात करते हैं ATS फ्रेंडली रेज्यूमेस की, उसका मतलब ये होता है कि जब आपका रेज्यूमे पास हो रहा है, जो मैंने जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन डाला है उसमें कुछ कीवर्ड्स होंगे, वो आपके रेज्यूमे से अगर मैच कर रहे हैं तो ATS मुझे ये दिखाएगा कि ये रेज्यूमे 70% मैच है आपके जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन से या 80% मैच है। ATS मुझे वहां हेल्प करता है, बट उसके बेसिस पे, प्योरली उसके बेसिस पे रिजेक्शन नहीं होता। Karthik, does language play a role in the hiring process? Like if you're talking about the different languages I was talking about, then no, not a crucial role, but yes, there can be an additional for that. Anything else, guys? I'll
Just I'll just interrupt. In the meantime, if you can just, we have the members, other members of the placement cell as well. So if you can, with you, we can just put on our cameras and we can then take a screenshot of the event as well. And the members from the Deltron, if you are also there and if it is possible for you to put on your cameras, I would request you. Professor Mohinder ji, if you're there.
Yeah, so Harshit, you can honestly explain the reason if there is any gaps. It doesn't require any sort of justification. आपको basically वो explain करना होता है, उसी को हम justification की बात करते हैं. आपको वो सिर्फ explain करना है कि gap है तो क्यों है. अगर वो आपका reason considerable है for that particular company or for that particular recruiter, तो आपके उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. बट अगर आप कोई स्टोरी बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं तो रिक्रूटर को पता चल जाता है, क्योंकि शायद आप एज अ फ्रेशर अप्लाई कर रहे हैं बट रिक्रूटर ने ऑलरेडी बहुत सारे फ्रेशर्स को प्रोसेस कर रखा है, तो उनको पता है कि क्या माइंडसेट हो सकता है एज अ फ्रेशर एक स्टोरी बनाने का. तो आपको ऑनेस्टली रीजन बताना है. दैट्स इट.
Thank you. I would request Professor Mohinder ji, if you can also put on your camera. Dr. Manish ji. Manish ji had to leave for a meeting. I think he may have already left. I'm not sure. We'll just quickly, and there is Shivani ji or Rahul ji from Deltron Technologies, because we will use this as a, what you say, within our press note that we'll have to prepare today. Mohinder ji, क्या आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे? Maybe some I have. Okay, just me change the field review. Yeah, I request Professor Dr. Pradeep जी, क्या आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे? आप भी अपने वो एंड से, आप भी एक एंड से वो ले लेंगे क्या स्क्रीनशॉट? कि प्रोफेसर मोहिंदर जी का आ नहीं रहा है. ठीक है. Thank you. So I guess thank you so much for interacting with our students and addressing most of the queries. And I'm sure since we have this ongoing relationship with the Deltron Technologies, if you have any more queries, we will put them in a Word document and we shall forward that to you, because listening from the experts and also from persons who are already working in the field, who are they on a daily basis handling the CVs and in this field, is really helpful for all of us. So now I would like to ask if there is anything that Ms. Pooja ji, would you like to add anything, or can we go for the formal conclusion of the session?
Yeah, I think I'm done from my end. I was just trying to address the queries. If anything else, people can reach out to Shivangi or reach out to me on LinkedIn also.
Absolutely. So is there anything from Deltron Technologies that you would like to add, please? So anything that anyone from Deltron Technologies would like to add to this conversation? We are also joined by Dr. Pradeep ji. Would you like to add on something, Dr. Manish ji? Okay. So Dr. Pradeep ji is our co-director. Manish ji is there. So now I would like to request Professor Mohinder ji, if you would like to just give your concluding remarks so that I can finally go for the formal thank to all the participants and the organizers. Professor Mohinder ji seems to actually, he was in a meeting. So I guess he's in a meeting, so I will go ahead and for the formal thanks to all the one who has joined us. So at the outset, definitely it has to be, though our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir could not be present here, but I have to state here on record that he has been an inspiration for all of us and for all the various activities that we undertake and how we motivate the students to reach the top organizations, and also not only in Bharat but also across the globe. He has been an inspiration. We are, as you know, is an A plus institution thanks to his guidance and leadership. So I would like to thank him. I'd like to thank our Dean Academics, Professor Pradeep Kumarji, who has also been always helpful in the initiatives undertaken by the TNP cell. We thank our director, Dr. Mohinder ji, who has been always every day working to ensure that everyone gets placed. As Ms. Wadhav ji has stated, it is not a very easy task to ensure the placement of all the students, but yet we are working so that we can achieve as much as placements as possible. Dr. Pradeep Choksi is the co-director, who is also helping us all, not only with the IT sales, but also with the help that can be provided. My colleague, Dr. Manish ji, for coordinating with the various faculty members. A special thanks to the Delton Technologies, Shivangi ji, Rahul ji, and entire team who has been actually, who has reached out to us and who has been made it possible for us to have this webinar for our students. Of course, Ms. Pooja Yadav ji has been kind enough to not only just very like a teacher. Actually, if I am being a teacher, it has been I have attended various corporate presentations, and most of them are they just touch upon the topic and leave it there. But today it has been a very detailed and a very nice way that you have presented, and it was all. I think that is why we have throughout the presentation, as you see, we have almost 130. In fact, 130 is the number I would like to add on here. We have many students have logged on together, so we have reached more than 180 participants in the session. So it was a very, and also I have to tell that we are located in 3 campuses, and with the snowfall, I think it was a very good event, and I'd like to thank you again, and would really like to connect with you, and also I'm sure that you will also reach out to our students on various other topics of HR and from the field. Of course, I have to thank the people who are behind the IT staff, the various support staff, the all the faculty members, the training and the heads of departments, the faculty members who have worked for the last 1 week to ensure that the people can join and be a part of this workshop. Above all, thanks to the participants. The final year students are there mostly who have actually, I'm sure, benefited from this conversation and this webinar that we have had today. So again, thanking all, I would like to bring a close to this webinar. And as Professor Mohinder ji has stated, this is a series of webinars which we are going to have with in relation with collaboration with Deltron and other organizations as well. So thank you so much to everyone, and I wish all of you a very nice afternoon and namaste.
Thank you so much for giving this
Thank you so
opportunity.
much, everyone. I think Prof. Mohinder Singh wants to speak. He's
Oh yes,
unable to, unmute himself.
okay. In fact, Professor Mohinder ji would like to really hear the concluding remarks from you. Has it been system disabled? If you can kindly look into that, Shivangi ji.
Actually, I have allowed him, but he's not able to, speak.
Okay.
I don't know what's the problem. So, sir, if you want to say anything, you can just write in the chat box. We'll see that and we'll respond to you. Okay, so I think he just want to say thanks.
Thank you, Mahoday. As I've told you, we operate from 3 campuses, which are actually spread across 55 kilometers. So there could be some network issues also because of the heavy snowfall that we have had yesterday. So 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 I will also, if Professor Mohinderji types anything, I'll just state that the webinars, we have been informed, and I'll pass on this information to all the students. The last one also I did, but now with the university opening, I can assure the Shivangi ji that you will see more participations from the students of Central University of Himachal Pradesh also, and I'm sure this will also be beneficial to all of them.
Great, sir. Right, sir.
Thank you. So any messages from Professor Mohinderji, because I cannot see his messages actually. So we will wait for some.
No, I think he just want to conclude the session
Okay.
now. So,
Okay.
sir, one more thing, we are having an upcoming webinar on 10th of Feb. Okay.
Okay.
If you really want your students to, join that, they can join. It's free of cost.
Mhm.
And, the speaker is Associate Director in Deloitte.
Okay, associated. So please do share the e-poster and the link. I shall definitely pass it on to all the students and will ensure that they also
Yeah.
get participation and benefit of
And
this.
his topic is, how to climb the corporate ladder like a winner.
Ah,
So
wonderful.
it's
That would be really nice. I'm
wonderful
sure.
topic, it's gonna be really helpful for the students.
Absolutely. So, in fact, we will also encourage if the faculty also members also wish to join. I think they will also join the same as well.
Right.
We will post it on the faculty as well as the students' WhatsApp groups and also send an email to everyone. So I guess with this, I think we come to an end of this webinar. So thank you so much once again. And I'm sure we would meet again and have an engaging conversation once again. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Namaste.
Yeah. Namaste.